Welcome, crypto fam, to today's episode of Crypto News Alerts. In today's show, big move brewing for the King Crypto. I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis. Also, breaking news: BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, officially adds Bitcoin to its list of assets for its global allocation fund. Let's freaking go. Also in today's show, SEC files objection to Binance US's plans to acquire Voyager Digital. That's right, the SEC wants to see more info included in the billion-dollar deal between Binance US Arm and Voyager Digital before it agrees to the acquisition. Also in today's show, US authorities are seizing $460 million in Robinhood shares tied to FTX, according to this latest report. That's right, the officials reportedly told a bankruptcy judge they're in the process of seizing 56 million shares of Robinhood tied to FTX and its former CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried. Also in today's show, Coinbase agrees to a $100 million settlement with the New York regulator. That's right, regulators reported that the crypto exchange had a backlog of 100,000 alerts about potentially suspicious customer transactions. Also in today's show, analytics firm Sentiment names 3 key catalysts which will kick off the next crypto bull market. I'll be breaking this down for you. Also in today's show, Logan Paul threatens to sue Coffeezilla over CryptoZoo scam allegations. That's right, the YouTube boxer Logan Paul, who is spearheading the CryptoZoo NFT project, has accused Coffeezilla of publishing defamation about him and his project. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. And welcome everyone tuning in to today's episode of Crypto News Alerts. This is pod episode number 1154. I'm your host, JV. Today is January 5th, 2023. Let's get it. Checking out the overall crypto market here. We can see Bitcoin is up 0.5% for the day, trading at around 17,000 at the time of this recording, just under. We have Ether barely in the red, but still hovering above $1,250. Binance Coin up 0.5%, trading at $258, while Litecoin, XRP, Cardano, Polkadot, and Solana all correcting and in the red. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com, we can see the current crypto market cap sitting at $819 billion and still on the rise with about $31 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. Current Bitcoin dominance on the decline at 39.6%, with the Ether dominance at 18.7%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, we have Helium leading the pack, up 8% for the day, trading at $1.81. Followed by Kava, up 7%, trading just under 66 cents. Followed by eCash, up almost 7%, trading at 0.00002. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, a sea of green, which I love to see. This is long overdue after the carnage we have witnessed in the altcoin market in the recent weeks. Lido DAO leading the pack, up about 42%, and Solana up a whopping 40%, along with Bit up over 25%. And checking out one of my favorite indicators, the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, shows we're currently rated a 29 in fear, the same as yesterday. Last week a 28, and last month a 25 in extreme fear. So there you have it. And welcome everyone tuning in to today's live show. Let's dive right into today's Bitcoin technical analysis and check out the charts and what's happening. Bitcoin traders are desperate for a fresh Bitcoin price volatility, but opinions are divergent on when it will come. Bitcoin's currently seeing some of the least volatile conditions in its history, according to the most recent price metrics. Since the FTX crisis, Bitcoin has settled into a historically narrow trading range, which refuses to budge. That's right. Despite the macro triggers, low volume holiday trading, and a yearly candle close, Bitcoin price action has stuck rigidly to a zone focused on $17,000. This is the least volatile period in the history of the Bitcoin Historical Volatility Index, and other data likewise shows that such sideways behavior is extremely rare. 2 months after FTX, traders and analysts alike are hotly debating when the breakout will come for the King Crypto and in which direction it will go. A big move is brewing for Bitcoin, says Charles Edwards, founder and CEO of asset manager Capriole Investments, as he shared here January 5th. Bitcoin is currently trading at a major low in volatility. Generally, when Bitcoin breaks out of extremely low volatility, the ensuing trend tends to last. Don't fight the trend on the next major move. And this chart shows the 30-day annualized standard deviation of Bitcoin volatility. This now at lows seen only a handful of times over the past 5 years. That's right, history in the making. And equally convinced that the status quo will break is Wolf of Wall Street's podcast host, Scott Melker, who this week flagged that he described as the tightest Bollinger Bands he has ever seen on the daily Bitcoin chart. The Bollinger Bands are a classic volatility indicator in action since the 1980s. They likewise use standard deviation to determine the upper and lower bounds of the price action within a defined period, and multiple use cases arise, including the ability to assess comparatively volatile or non-volatile price action, as well as associated entry and exit points. Currently, the two bands are squeezed around the central moving average on Bitcoin, according to data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView, showing the assumptions that volatility should now ensue. Now, for creator John Bollinger, however, the length of the squeeze is not necessarily pertinent to the timing or the strength of the future volatility. Quoting Melker here, in my experience, prolonged squeezes are rarely valuable signals. I prefer squeeze and go, in his response actually to Scott Melker. And as reported, meanwhile, there is no shortage of bearish Bitcoin price predictions in force for the start of 2023. Various warnings have cautioned hodlers over what may be to come, including a drop to $10,000 or even lower in quarter one. That's right, Standard Chartered had come out predicting a low for the King Crypto of $5,000 target for 2023. Let me know if you feel that can be a potential target for the King Crypto. Let me know in the comments right down below. And checking out this tweet, breaking news that Macau Vende Pop shares, BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager in the world, officially adds Bitcoin to its list of assets for its global allocation fund, meaning it is far from dead. You can say that again. And again, welcome to everyone just tuning in to today's live show. Next, we're going to be discussing Binance US and their acquisition of Voyager, which has been declined by regulators. Interestingly enough, the United States SEC has filed a limited objection to the crypto exchange Binance US's proposed $1 billion takeover of the bankrupt crypto lender Voyager Digital, citing a lack of necessary info. The limited objection was filed January 4th, yesterday, with the SEC pointing to a lack of detail regarding the Binance US's ability to fund the acquisition, what Binance US operations would look like following the deal, and how customer assets will be secured during and after the transaction. Now, a limited objection is similar to a normal objection, but only applies to a specific part of the proceedings. Additionally, the regulator wants Voyager to provide more detail on what could happen should the transaction not be consummated by April 18th. And in its filing, the SEC said it had already communicated its concerns with Voyager, and the lender intends to file a revised disclosure statement prior to the hearing on the matter. Some commentators interpreted the objection as the SEC suggesting Binance US would not be able to afford the acquisition without some untoward dealing, such as receiving funds from Binance's global entity, as pointed out here by Adam Cochran. SEC basically objecting on the grounds that Binance US couldn't have the size of assets without some untoward dealing, likely with parent co, which would mean a commingling of the US entity. So if Binance fights they risk U.S. exposure. While the Binance CEO CZ has publicly stated that Binance US was a fully independent entity, and October 17th, Reuters reported allegedly that the U.S. entity acts more like a de facto subsidiary that was created to insulate Binance from U.S. regulators. And in response, CZ argued in an October 17th blog post that Binance was committed to complying with regulators, that the author of the article was reporting in a biased manner and had used presentation provided by an external consultant that was never implemented. Now, Voyager announced on December 19th it had agreed to Binance US's bid to acquire its assets in a deal worth $1.022 billion in total. The lender noted in a press release that the bid was the highest and best bid for its assets, which would maximize the value returned to customers and creditors on the expedited timeframe. However, if the regulators don't approve it, that means the investors are unlikely to receive any of their funds back. So SEC, what in the world are you doing? Voyager announced September 27th that FTX US had won the auction for its assets with an offer of $1.4 billion, which would have seen customers recover 72% of their frozen crypto, a deal which has since falling through. I personally would love to see 74% of you who lost your money with them receive your funds back, but it seems like the regulators are doing anything and everything except protecting investors like you and I. It's a damn shame if you're to ask me. But now let's break down our next story of the day, and that is the $460 million shares that FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried owns and Robinhood being confiscated. Let's check it out, shall we? The United States DOJ had reportedly seized or was in the process of seizing more than $400 million worth of Robinhood shares linked to FTX as part of the case against the crypto exchange. According to a January 4th report from Reuters, U.S. officials told a judge they were in the process of seizing assets tied to FTX and its former CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, which included 56 million shares of Robinhood worth roughly $468 million at the time of this recording. The report comes the day after the judge in the criminal case against SBF ordered him not to access or transfer any crypto or assets from FTX or Alameda. Shouldn't that be a given? Like, you literally have to warn him after all of the shenanigans we have witnessed. Now, amid FTX's bankruptcy proceedings, control of the Robinhood shares has been under contention as many investors and creditors look to be made whole. BlockFi, SBF, and FTX creditor Jonathan Ben Shimon have all staked claims to the assets in a federal court on January 3rd, as we all know. SBF pleaded not guilty to 8 criminal counts, including wire fraud, securities fraud, and violations of campaign finance laws. He also previously denied moving funds from Alameda, saying he no longer had access to the wallets since stepping down as CEO in November. Sure thing, Sammy. Whatever you say, buddy. The former FTX CEO has been under house arrest at his parents' home in California since December, but has been allowed to travel for approved reasons, including showing up in court in Manhattan, New York. His trial date has been set for October 2nd, which ultimately means he has 9 more months of freedom under house arrest at his parents' home until the trial begins. What do you think is likely to take place out of all of this? Do you think SBF will serve any serious prison time, or do you think he'll be let off scot-free as he has already pleaded not guilty? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below, which leads us to our next story of the day. Let's discuss this $100 million fine that Coinbase has to pay or has paid to the SEC as they continue shaking down exchanges. The New York State Department of Financial Services has reached an agreement with Coinbase following an investigation into the crypto exchanges compliance program. In a January 4th announcement, the NYDIF said Coinbase will pay a $50 million fine in response to violations of New York's financial services and banking laws, as well as invest $50 million to correct its compliance program. According to the financial regulator, the crypto exchange had many compliance deficiencies related to anti-money laundering requirements. The NYDFS's reported issues with Coinbase's process for onboarding users and monitoring transactions. Coinbase has acknowledged its failures in this respect to the department, they said. Furthermore, certain of these issues have been known to Coinbase since at least 2008, flagged through both internal assessments and external reviews, including examinations conducted by the department. Although Coinbase has worked to correct these issues, its progress has been slow. Progress in certain areas did not occur until recently, and work remains outstanding to the present. New York regulators report that Coinbase allowed customers to open accounts without conducting sufficient background checks, a violation of AML requirements under the state's licensing regime. And according to the regulator, the growth in the number of users at the crypto exchange had contributed to a failure to keep up pace with monitoring suspicious transactions, citing a backlog of more than 100,000 alerts. Could you imagine? That's wild. We're proud of our commitment to compliance, but we're also willing to acknowledge where we have fallen short, including by paying penalties and working hard to fix the issues, as pointed out right here. Now check it. The NYDF has been requiring crypto firms to obtain a BIT license in order to operate in the state since 2015. Coinbase first received this license in 2017, and policymakers have imposed different requirements on the crypto exchange and others under the regulatory regime since its inception, including annual assessment fees and pushes to abandon the program entirely. So there you have it. Do you think the SEC will continue shaking down other major centralized exchanges this year in 2023, such as Binance and CZ? Let me know in the comments right down below. And with that being shared, now let's break down our next story of the day and discuss some bull run catalysts as per Santiment Analytics. A massive shout out to Santiment. I'm going to be on their live show on YouTube tomorrow, and I'm also planning on bringing Philip Swift here on the show as well to discuss some technical analysis. So if you're excited to see that, let me know in the comments below. Crypto analytics firm Santiment is breaking down what catalyst will launch the next digital asset bull run. Send it. Let's go. Santiment notes in a new analysis that when the markets take off, social media discussions about crypto assets tend to be more focused on Bitcoin than they currently are. The analytics firm says that 1/6 to 1/8 of crypto asset discussions have centered on Bitcoin in the second half of 2022. But that number is typically 1/5 in ideal market conditions. Now explains Santiment and illustrated in the chart, which is right here on your screen. They go to share. Let's look to see when trader interest in Bitcoin begins to hover consistently above this break-even line. Once again, this signal, along with a bit of distrust in exchanges dissipating as the time goes by and hopefully justice is served against the former FTX founders, should be a recipe for a rebound as we head into a new year. With Bitcoin trading at roughly 17,000 at the time of this recording, the top-ranked crypto asset is down more than 75% from its all-time high of $69,000, which it hit in November of 2021. Santiment notes that 2022 represented the accumulation year in Bitcoin's four-year cycle, quoting them here. 2014, 2018, and 2022 were all historically bad years during the now 14 years of Bitcoin's existence. That's right, recently we just celebrated the 14-year anniversary of the King Crypto, and it is no coincidence that they all come together after great ultra bullish years that established new all-time highs, which we witnessed in 2013, 2017, and 2021. Though not a perfect alpha barometer of predicting whether prices will be going up or down, the pattern of every 4 years seeing a euphoric stage followed by a fearful profit-taking phase has become fairly predictable. Ain't telling no lies. Let me know how many of you are currently bullish versus bearish for the King Crypto heading into the next halving next year into 2024. And I also agree with Santiment. There are a lot of analytics out there right now to show us that this bear season is close to its end as we start to ascend into our next parabolic rally for the King Crypto. And I like that the year following the halving, I mean, this has been like clockwork. And if history doesn't repeat, it often does tend to rhyme, that the year following the halving is when we reach the all-time high of the 4-year halving cycle. I'm expecting nothing different, but hey, anything is possible. Let me know your expectations in the comments right down below. Now for the moment we have all been waiting for. Logan Paul, who is the founder who released CryptoZoo, which was a crypto NFT project which allegedly scammed lots of investors. Coffeezilla called him out, created a 3-part documentary series, released it on his YouTube channel. Now, Logan Paul recently came out in his most recent episode of Impulsive and also released a response video to the claims from Coffeezilla, basically, and also threatened to sue Coffeezilla for basically defamation, for referring to his project as a scam, and things have been getting see. Here we go. YouTuber Logan Paul has threatened to sue fellow YouTuber and internet detective Coffeezilla for defamation after he accused Paul's CryptoZoo NFT project of being a scam. How many of you have heard of CryptoZoo? Let me know in the comments below. The two have been battling back and forth on social media and YouTube videos ever since December 17th, when Steven, also known as Coffeezilla, launched the first of a 3-part video series attacking CryptoZoo and Paul, who was the face of the project. How many of you watched that 3-part series by Coffeezilla? It was very good. Let me know in the comments. CryptoZoo was supposed to be a fun blockchain game that can earn you money, but millions of dollars of investor money later, things are still broken, he said. And in his most recent response, Logan Paul published a YouTube video on January 4th accusing the internet detective of having led the charge to drive and monetize a narrative telling millions of people that I'm a fraud or that I tried to scam my audience. Now, he also accused Coffeezilla of having done so without verifying any background information or substantiating any evidence, adding that he took multiple criminals' words as truth and broke laws. You still publish the defamation, adding, I will see you in court. Now, CryptoZoo is an NFT game with the premise of allowing zookeepers to buy NFT eggs using the game's native token Zoo. These eggs would then be hatched into animals that can be bred and to create hybrid animals. The hybrids were intended to be tradable and provide zookeepers with Zoo, with Paul describing the project in an August 21st, 2021 podcast as a really fun game that makes you money. Yeah, right. Now, additionally, Paul had suggested the art of the game would be handmade by 10 different artists over 6 months. However, the hybrids, the focus of the September 11, 2021 video from Coffeezilla, in which he described the images as a bunch of stock photos from Adobe that had been poorly Photoshop. You can't make this stuff up, folks. However, the CryptoZoo blog had not published any new content since April 20th, leading most investors to believe they have been scammed. I mean, I would too if nothing was updated in literally that long, promoting some to believe that the development of the project has halted. And during Coffeezilla's 3-part series about CryptoZoo, the YouTuber interviewed purported investors of the project. One investor who claimed to be still holding eggs called on the CryptoZoo team to reimburse those loyal fans, or they would try to rebuild the project. However, in his latest video, Paul said they will continue to build CryptoZoo, sharing a teaser stating it was coming in 2023, 2024. Quoting him here, "Trust me, CryptoZoo is coming. I will make damn sure of it." However, Coffeezilla has continued to question the authenticity of these claims as he shares on Twitter, "Fear not, CryptoZoo holders who spent millions in 2021. The basic game might be delivered in 2023, 2024, and definitely not because I made a video series about it." Well, yeah, of course not. Meanwhile, both Paul and Coffee have called on each other to discuss the matter on their respective platforms. Both denied, and I doubt they ever do. According to CoinMarketCap, the Zoo token plummeted by 99.5% over the past year, despite some recent gains within the last week, following the recent media attention. And let's not forget that Logan Paul also promoted Dink Doink prior to launching CryptoZoo. Dink Doink was also lambasted by Coffeezilla in a July 12, 2021 video. Wild, to say the least. So there you have it. That's the latest drama between Coffeezilla and Logan Paul. How do you feel this is likely to play out? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below. And now let's get back to the live Q&A, and hopefully you're able to hear everything I just said. I'm going to be reading the comments out loud. Coinfather says, "I wouldn't trust Logan Paul." I feel you, dog. Paul is SBF-like, says Mikey likes it. Matthew says, "Sounds like a knock of Axie Infinity." J-Dub, welcome. Good to see you, family. Smash that like. I appreciate that. Appreciate all the support. And my apologies for the audio issues a little earlier. I appreciate the heads up, though. I just want to rehear the verbal music, which is your voice, JV. Let's play it again. That's what's up. I'm happy I was able to recover that. All good in the hood. Logan is a scammer, says Dragon Flower. How many of you actually watched the response video from Logan Paul to Coffeezilla in regards and response to the allegations? And how many of you watched the Impulsive episode, which was also very intriguing? I watched it late last night. Let me know in the comments. Coinfather says he is just after getting rich and leave. Duke says, "I think his sudden return to the project after months of nothing is disingenuous." I agree there. Like, if he had plans on doing the right thing, you would think he would have done it a year ago or a very long time ago. This is dating back to 2021. Right now we're in 2023. He only addressing it because Coffee called him out on it, and millions of Logan's fans are like, "This guy is really a scammer? I can't believe it." So Logan was forced to address it. You know what I mean? He was forced to address it. And I would be damned if he's been working on CoffeeZoo behind the scenes for the past couple of years. I highly doubt it. I think he was just waiting to see how it all plays out and hoping to kind of sweep it under the rug, hoping it goes all the way. But Coffeezilla called him out on his BS, and now it is what it is. Mikey says, "Anyone who has to keep reminding you, trust me, I am not a scammer, repetitively, sus." 100% agreed with you there. Totally sus. Jim says, "Water brings life. Bitcoin brings hope." Amen. Cheers to that. Braddock, welcome fan from Brazil, says, "I trust Coffeezilla, not Logan." I would say, based upon the comments, 99% of the people trust Coffeezilla over Logan Paul. And it's kind of sad. Logan Paul also lives here in Puerto Rico. Top G already told us the Paul brothers are scammers. Man, I'll stick up for Jake as far as trying to do something with his career, being a boxer. He announced today he just signed a deal to the PFL, which is a MMA organization. So he's going to be doing his thing with fighting. I think Jake is on a different level than Logan. However, they both have released very scammy NFT projects, so I'm not sticking up for neither of them. I just say I respect Jake a little more, as Logan seems to be, I don't know, a totally different level of scheming, in my personal opinion. Yeah, just personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Coinfather says, hey, JV, trust me, Bitcoin is freedom, 100%. Bitcoin is freedom and sovereignty to the 100th power. I trust coffee. Yeah, man. Coffee. Shout out to Coffeezilla for spreading some light on Logan Paul. How do you think the lawsuit will likely play out? Do you think Logan will indeed file a lawsuit against him? Because obviously if he did, that's a lot more negative attention. That's a lot of money going to lawyers. Do you think Coffeezilla is going to take that lightly? It's going to be a nightmare for Logan Paul, in my humble opinion. And I know it's going to be a very expensive lawsuit, even for Coffeezilla. However, I think the people are going to support Coffee. And if it was hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this battle, I would not be surprised if he can just do a GoFundMe and raise the money like that, especially for people who have been victim of Logan Paul's NFTs. They're probably going to want to help support Coffee as well so that they could, get to the bottom of it. Minimal government, maximum freedom. Cheers. That's what's up, Nate. Facts. That's why Bitcoin is the king. You know what I mean? So what are you guys up to? What do you got planned for this weekend? Anything exciting happening? Let me know in the comments. Yeah. What's poppin'? I'm going to sip on some of my water here. And Nate says, and of course, Bitcoin to Greece, the freedom wheels. Also want to give a shout out to Max Kaiser. I've been sharing some of his classic rants like from a decade ago, 14 years ago. And one of them was called The Death of the Dollar. And he recorded this back in 2006. This was 2 years before the birth of Bitcoin, or 2 or 3 years before the birth of Bitcoin. And it's crazy how accurately he has called the destruction of the dollar. Obviously, the dollar still exists, but hyperinflation is no joke. And he called it a very, very long time ago. So I got to give credit and respect where credit and respect is due. So shout out to Max and Stacy. Coffeezilla spitting facts with receipts, which are for the most part believable, hard to beat the facts. Facts. Duke says, I think Logan is mainly clouded by his ego. He needs to take more responsibility for the issues with the project instead of trying to pin it 100% on Jake, Eddie, and Zach. He brought them together. I agree with that point, Duke. You're responsible for choosing your team. And just because you chose scammers as your team, you got to still take responsibility for that. All the scammers are just pointing the fingers at each other. Like Crypto King's pointing the finger at Logan, Logan's pointing the finger at Crypto King, etc. They're all responsible. They all, were a part of it. You know what I mean? And the main person, the face of it all, was Logan. So naturally, he's the most responsible for it all. So to just say he was a bad actor, I got scammed too, I feel that's very disingenuous as well. I feel he should just say, it was my fault. I man up. I chose the wrong team. They screwed me. And because of that, you all got screwed. And now I got to take responsibility for it and make it right. But he'd rather just keep pointing the finger and saying, hey, I didn't mean to scam any of court, So it's very interesting. Coinfather says, work and more work. Very boring. JV, look into the news about Silvergate. If it is true and they go bankrupt, we can see that $5,000 Bitcoin price I mentioned before. Yeah, Standard Chartered did predict a $5,000 Bitcoin price. I have seen that. If Silvergate, oh my God, that would be wild. It would have a contagion effect on everything in crypto. Let's not forget Genesis DCG, the digital currency group, and all the shenanigans going on with the money owed to Gemini from the Gemini Earn project and Barry Silbert not paying the $1.6 billion owed. This can create a massive negative effect. And so I hope doesn't all come to surface, but things aren't looking good currently. Bitba says he made fun of Flat Earth Group in a movie. He is a punk, 100%. Never attack Flat Earth or Top G. Or, yeah, you see what happened. You become an agent of the Matrix and you get called out for it. Digital Gravity said he admits fault. He would have opened himself up to be financial liability. Okay, you make a great point. If he admits fault, he opens himself up from financial liability. Maybe his lawyers have told him that. Maybe that's why he won't man up. Mr. says Max FUD is about to turn into Max Payne for the Bears. Mikey says JV describing being accountable to oneself. That's definitely a Buddhist attribute. Good on ya. Let's hope these fools learn 2023 is not 2022. New year wisdom all around. Facts. Preach. Kramer said sell. That is the bottom signal. Bottom is in. Free Top G. I'm with you, BitBud. Free Top G. Everyone put free Top G if you support Top G and you think he is innocent. Coinfather says, Matt C, so true. My 3 Bitcoin purchase would then be 6 Bitcoin purchase. That's right. If you planned on buying 3 Bitcoin for this year, you can buy 6 if the price dropped in half from where we at, from 16 to 8. And if you got down to 5, you can probably buy 3.5 Bitcoin. Let's get it. Keep stacking them sats. Kramer is the ultimate contrarian indicator. Exactly. Anything Jim Cramer says on, what is he, on CNBC or one of those major networks, anything he says, just do the opposite. And right now he's saying, I didn't go to college for crypto. Crypto is the worst. Don't touch crypto. I wouldn't touch crypto. The worst investment right now is crypto. Crypto. Yeah, I'm long on crypto. Long Bitcoin. Kramer says that. I'm long Bitcoin. Unschool yourself first. Which indicators are your favorites? That's a good question. I think some of the ones I cover daily, the Crypto Greed and Fear Index is a great indicator. The Bollinger Bands is a great indicator for buy and sell signals. There's quite a few. It's just not in the top forefront of my head right now. So you guys let me know which indicators you guys love. Stock to flow is a great indicator as well, which has been historically accurate until recent years or more recent. Mr. Gaylord says Kramer inverse ETF. Exactly. You feel me? Free Top G. That's what's up, chill. Mikey says, Matthew, 10 Bitcoin, not Satoshis. I foresee in your future. Yes, magic ball. Says all. Remember those magic 8 balls? You asked it a question. You shake it up. Yes, most certainly. Yes, Bitcoin's going to the moon. But anyways, fam, let's wrap up here. Now for the big finish, which is a recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. We discussed the latest technical analysis as big move brewing for the Bitcoin price action. We also discussed breaking news of BlackRock adding Bitcoin to its list of assets for its global allocation fund. We also discussed SEC filing an objection to Binance US's plans to acquire Voyager Digital. We discussed the US authorities seizing $460 million in Robinhood shares tied to FTX, according to their latest report. We also discussed Coinbase agreeing to pay a $100 million settlement with the New York regulator. We also discussed analytics firm Santiment shares 3 key catalysts, which will kick off the next crypto bull market. And we also discuss as well Logan Paul threatening to sue Coffeezilla over CryptoZoo scam allegations. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments. Right